Scorpio. Welcome to a love reading for November 2020 for single Scorpio people. And I'm going to lay out the cards and I will tell you what each position means after I've laid them out. Just cut the deck. All right. Boy, you have a nice set of cards here. The center card is what is going on with your love life at the moment. And we have the Ace of Pentacles. Now, this could just be your life in general if you've started a new job, and maybe that's where you meet somebody. This is supposed to be for people who are single, but it is possible that you have met somebody, or that in the month of November that this will be a new situation for you. This has a very hopeful sign for relationship that is a solid one, because Pentacles relate to the earth element. Of course, it could be an earth sign. Taurus is your opposite sign. You have Virgo and you have Capricorn as the other earth signs, and you harmonize well as the element of water with earth signs. Both the water and the earth elements are feminine, and feminine signs harmonize with one another because they share some of the same ways of approaching life. There's more of an interior type of way, because the feminine is more passive, more kind of inward, than the masculine is more out there. And so there's more of a domestic, kind of a nesting instinct and things like that. And so any kind of relationship that comes your way in November might be something that is very solid. I do want to point out that when I do these readings, they are more for your reflection rather than trying to predict the future, because I don't consider myself a fortune teller. I'm primarily an astrologer, but I use the tarot for these messages to come through, whether it's a synchronicity, where it's something that is happening for you, or it resonates with you, what I'm saying. So rather than saying in the month of November, you're going to meet somebody, it's more to talk about the type of person. If you've had relationships that have been more fly-by-night, things with people that are not willing to make a commitment. And for Scorpio, you might have your own Venus or Mars in Sagittarius or in Libra, but I'm thinking specifically of Sag, where there's more of a love of freedom and maybe kind of ambivalence about starting a relationship. And so even inherent within yourself, you may have conflicting desires. Now, of course, having a moon sign, if you're sun in Scorpio, you have a moon in Aquarius or Gemini or Sag, or there's just certain signs that might be a little bit hesitant to have a long-term relationship. But that doesn't mean they can't either. In the past position, concerning your life, maybe your love life or your life in general, we have the Nine of Cups. Now, that's why I was remarking that this is a really positive reading, because the Nine of Cups is about wish fulfillment. And so it can be this situation where you may have gotten something that you've wanted, and perhaps if you're single, this is meeting someone. Now, you may not currently be in a relationship, or if you're in a relationship, it's in its infancy, but it bodes well for such a relationship. And so there's positive vibes being generated with this. I don't know if the Nine of Cups is supposed to be Jupiter in Pisces. I do know that Jupiter is the ninth house, so there may be some connection there with Jupiter. And Jupiter is this benevolent planet. And just in terms of how this may impact you, you may feel this sense of emotional positivity. I mean, positivity about your relationships. And, it might be beyond just romance for you. But whatever it is, it may give you this sense of anything, the possibilities being endless in your life, this expansive emotional quality. And then we have the lesson that you may have had to learn from past experiences, which is the Six of Pentacles. This is a card of give and take. And you see one, there are two hands. One is giving and one is taking. Basically what this can mean, and it's funny because this deck, the Lightseer's deck, I don't know if I've ever picked this card because it looks kind of like new to me. And I've done several sets of readings with this deck. But don't you love, I don't know, that blue-green color in the background? That's like one of my favorite colors. And all these, the orange, it just harmonizes so well. And this is a card of giving and taking energy. And that's what pentacles ultimately mean, is energy. We tend to think of it in the form of the monetary system, and that certainly can be what it's about. But in a like a relationship reading, it would be more for issues concerning your, what you put into relationships and what you get out of them. So perhaps, and I just by nature of knowing how Scorpios tend to be, I could totally see a Scorpio person really investing their heart into a relationship and not getting it back in return, and feeling a sense of like, hey, what happened here? Not realizing that you have to bet on the right horse. You can't just give your heart to anyone, and you may have learned to spot the signs of when a person is just not that into you, or maybe they are into you, but they're afraid of commitment. And that, that doesn't make somebody a bad person at all, because people sometimes really value that sense of freedom, that they can do what they want. And ultimately, I think the healthiest relationships are the ones that grant each partner, a long leash. And yes, I'm saying leash like there still is one, and maybe that's not even right to even mention a leash. But there's that sense of possessiveness which is common in both Scorpio and Taurus. I actually did a reading for the full moon on October 31st on Halloween, and I'm actually recording this a day before that. And I was, talking about these two signs and how they're both connected to relationship, but it can be a very kind of a stormy thing sometimes, because both of these signs sometimes have a sense of ownership, or in the case of Scorpio, it's more like obsession. And it really, the more trauma is in the background of the individuals, the more this is going to be front and center. More mature and healed Scorpios and Taurus people will be more able to transcend that tendency to kind of, act like they have some kind of like, that they are entitlements, I guess is the word I'm looking for, when it comes to another person, and being able to be in a relationship with somebody and still have your own sense of self. And Scorpio, the tendency is to want to merge with their partner, but this can in the lower expression lead to codependency, because if the person doesn't have a sense of self. I was just reading an autobiography by the wife of a rock star, and she is a Scorpio, and that was a textbook case of like trying to live through somebody else and not succeeding, and finding herself in the process, and being able to carve out her own sense of self, her own sense of identity. And so this may be something that you've had to kind of deal with in one way or the other. Maybe not exactly how I'm describing it, but at the very least, see when you give something to somebody, whether there's that sense of them, resonating and giving back to you, and not being a one-sided relationship, for instance. What is coming in is the Magician, so it just gets better and better. And you see on the hood, you've got that symbol of, it's like the sideways 8. What's it called? The Ankh or something? And it means eternity. And this particular depiction of the Magician is very interesting. It is different than the ones that we're used to. Let me see. Usually we see all the elements, on the table, but here they have, it's kind of like that energy, the energetic, moving energy or something. But anyway, what's coming in is this idea of the conscious co-creator. So it's funny, when I said conscious co-creator, the time on this video was 11:44. So 2 master numbers. I love that when that happens. So basically, if you're a single and you're looking for a relationship that you understand that you have the ability to, make it happen, but it has to come in its own way, and you can't force the universe's hand. And so many times people are kind of a little bit desperate sometimes when they want something and it's not materializing. And like when I do private readings with people who are single or who are in a relationship and they want it to be how it used to be, to make it work or to go back with somebody, it's, I try to really communicate this idea that you have to be whole within yourself. And once you've got that under your belt, then you're like sitting pretty, because you're just living your life, you're loving your life, and anything else is cake, it's bonus. And that's how I see the 9 of Cups. It's like maybe some of you have generated that sense of well-being. Doesn't mean you don't want a relationship, but it means that you're not like, oh my God, I have to have it. Because that sense of, when people get, I was going to say that sense of urgency can really be about looking for somebody to define them, to, save them from themselves, by this sense of like, oh, you love me, therefore that proves that I'm lovable. These things, even like feeling lonely. A lot of times loneliness, I think, is a person's inability to be with themselves, and they, that serial relationship situation. So all of these things, the Magician, the card is number 1. Obviously there's a Fool, and it's funny because I got the Fool too as the outcome card, but number 1, and it connects to Aries, the sign Aries, which is the first house in astrology. So it is all connected in that way. And that is about the self. That's what the first house is about. So it's about being self-reliant. And, we're talking about love here. So in being able to do that, you can find a person that is going to put you in that vibration to be able to do so. So, I do recommend that people if you have met somebody, that you just see where it goes, that you are not impatient to make to have the person commit right away, because that tends to be what pushes people away, if they sense that the other person is they want that commitment right away. But just to relax and enjoy the companionship, and not need it to mean anything right off the bat, but cultivating a friendship with somebody. And then the outcome is the Fool card. And it's like, it looks like that's the flower of life. And I think, I don't know if that's considered sacred geometry. Oh, she's holding a crystal too. Let me see. It looks like an amethyst, which is connected to, yeah, and I think that the reason that they're using an amethyst is that this card is connected to Uranus, which is the ruler of Aquarius. And Aquarius, I think that one of the birth stones, or the crystals associated with Aquarius is the amethyst. And the point is with with Uranus and the Fool card is the unknown, anything can happen type of thing. Now, interestingly, speaking of Uranus is in Taurus, your opposite sign. So that is the 7th house for Scorpio, the opposite house. And what that means in terms of astrology is that you may find a life mate or a significant other in a very unexpected way. But you have to put yourself out there. If you're the type of Scorpio person who is very kind of almost like a hermit, and you don't really like to do new things, you're a fixed sign, you may have your little habits that are deeply ingrained, and you tend to do the same things over and over again. Being able to switch things up can put you on a new I can never say that word, trajectory, and you can have new experiences. One of the things I've read this or heard this more than once, is that if you tend to take the same routes all the time, take different routes. And I have Taurus rising, so I have a little bit of that fixed quality myself, and it's like, I like going this way, or but it makes sense that even something as mundane and simple as that could yield new experiences. You can meet new people. Just things can happen that wouldn't normally happen. So just shaking things up a little bit. You never know when the love of your life, and that's what the 7th house would be. The 5th house is falling in love, but the 7th house is that life mate, that partner, the significant other, how they will come into your life. And you have to keep an open mind. You have to, be willing to take new journeys. This is a journey. The Fool is eager to embark upon a journey, but they have no preconceived notions about where they're going. So there's that sense of adventure. And can you cultivate that as you are navigating your love life? Could this be, I was thinking with these last 2 cards, either an Aries or an Aquarius person. I don't know. I mean, both of those are masculine signs, but you may have your moon sign in air or fire, and that would be an amazing connection. Who knows? Or Venus in fire in Sag. So this person that you meet, that you are attracting, this could be like the most amazing person for you. So just look at stuff with the law of attraction, maybe on YouTube when it plug in love, because you might get some more insight into what you can do. I have written an ebook called Manifest Your Soulmate, which is about these same principles, and that can be accessed at the link below, along with a relationship reading or reading for you as a single person. If you're interested, everything is below. Thank you for watching, Scorpio, and have a great month. Take care. Bye.